Jody D. Hey, gang, she says. So my question is, what do you guys do in your downtime on set?
I'll start. I have a feeling my answers are really different from yours because I spend all my time with like incredibly, energy-filled boys. Like, there was a lot of football.
So just you and all the guys?
Yeah, pretty much. There was a lot of hitting people with sticks. Like, I think there was like a full-on, day of who can break the biggest stick over their head. That happened.
Oh, okay.
That's a hobby.
We met each other at a dinner, and she was literally like, "Oh, thank goodness, a girl." Oh, thank God.
I know. I was like literally being on another planet, and there's no girls. I mean, totally.
So they come up with interesting games.
Yeah.
They played a game like, let's see who can break through Nikki's trailer door and tackle her the hardest and get her to come outside and play football with that. Do you remember that dog that they used to
Yes.
toss the football and make the dog
Yes.
run back and
Yes,
forth?
I love that dog actually.
Drove everything
Sometimes I
crazy.
need a dog.
You got a dog?
There was this
Someone's
dog
dog.
that was there when we were shooting the last one, this golden retriever dog lab thing that was always hanging out. Anyways, he was well fed, so I'm sure he had a home somewhere, but he liked to hang out with all the boys. What do? We have a very musical cast. Jackson brings his guitar, and he sort of entertains all of us, serenades the whole cast.
And Javier, who plays Riley in this film, is also very musical.
And Rob.
Rob's musical. Yeah.
Is there a lot of downtime on set, though, or is it pretty
So
much
much.
non-stop?
Because it's a huge, I wouldn't call this an ensemble. I mean, this is really about, the main trio. But it is a huge, huge, huge cast. So, yeah, we had a lot of time to...
Well, we have to have like different, depending on the weather, we have to be prepared to go to like multiple locations. So a lot of times they'll bring all of us in, and because it takes hours and hours to get us into hair and makeup, if they do that, they don't necessarily want to let you go because then they might need you in an hour or two. So, I mean, there were many occasions where we were brought in at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and you're put into full hair and makeup, and you just have to be really patient and, wait your turn. And it's like that for all of us, by the way. I mean, Taylor would come to set and go like, I think I'm going to shoot my scene today, but that might be tomorrow if the sun comes out. Because it's, So it takes a lot of,
And it's cool with these films, it's different than normal films because normal films you're waiting for the sun to actually come out.
Right.
But on these films, if the sun comes out, it's a huge problem because then you have sparkly vampires. So it needs to be cloudy. So it's like they would be waiting for
the more miserable the weather, the better.
Isn't that interesting? It creates a different dynamic on set.
Yeah, you have to play a lot of guitar and
a lot of like deep music to get into the vibe of it. So the next question is actually for Bryce from Sherry S. She asks, how excited were you to join the cast? Because, I definitely think already from seeing all of you here, everyone really seems like a family. And what do you bring to the character of Victoria?
Well, I was hired literally just a couple days before shooting began. So honestly, at first I was really, really nervous. And I remember on the plane flight over, I was like sitting in the corner just being like, oh gosh, they're all on the plane.
Did you see all of them when you were like going to security?
I was really nervous. And I have to say, I'm really grateful to everyone. I mean, everyone was like so wonderful and warm, and everyone's really committed to telling these stories in the best way possible, and so we just all got to work really quickly, and in terms of just bringing something to Victoria, for me my main objective was continuity. I mean, Victoria's been created and she's extraordinary, and I hope that me being a part of this, a dip doesn't happen. I just want there to be continuity, and as well with the character in the book, just continuing to bring that to life. So yeah, that was kind of what I focused on.
And what process did you go through to get ready for this role?
Well, because with continuity, I mean, there's the sense of wanting to continue just aesthetically, what the character looks like. And so I was wearing a wig, and there's similarities in terms of the costuming and all of that, and then the physicality was really, really critical because the character Victoria is like an acrobat herself. Obviously, she's a vampire, but her gift is evasion, and so she's very, very stealthy. And there, I had some learning to do, definitely. And they threw me on a treadmill.
You have to get your exercise on.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. You know, because there's a lot of sprinting and jumping, and
They
thank
put
goodness.
harnesses on us.
Yeah,
how fast we were running on these.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great too because there's such an incredible group of people who stunt actors and whatnot who are really brilliant, and they actually brought in some people from Cirque du Soleil who did like incredible things that I could never dream of doing. So that's really exciting. It's like, you know, Team Victoria. It was basically like 4 or 5 people all coming together to create this character.
Well, that's fun to hear that story, I'm sure, for all the fans out there, because they don't know these types of things. So having you here to tell that is really incredible.
It's really nice.
Oh, cool.
It's really great. A lot of people are like, there's all these sides right now going, oh,
All right, so a big question on everyone's minds from Constance P. They ask, in what way is Eclipse different from New Moon?
It's Julia.
No, that's
That's
Nikki.
definitely
That's
Julia's
Nikki.
question.
I wasn't even
I think
in New
I-
Moon.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, like.
Because you've been there throughout the whole process, obviously.
New Moon just had a different feel. I mean, for multiple reasons. We have different directors, and I think that that's nice to bring a different perspective to each one, and a different sort of flavor and take on it. David's amazing. He was really detail oriented, and I actually wasn't really in New Moon all that much either. So I worked with Chris very little, but he was very fantastic and very calm and comforting. And David had a lot to do, and because, like everyone has said, we have so many different characters to focus on, and now we have the newborns, and we have the Volturi, and we have the vampire family, and the wolves. I think it was all about putting the pieces together and making it visually look as intense as it felt for all of us, because there is that emotional undertone as well. So I guess the obvious difference is there's literally a war that's happening. So that's going to be hopefully really satisfying and
high
crazy
stakes
for everyone. And yeah.
And what about you? Well, this is now your first film. What did you see the difference after obviously seeing the past ones, New Moon to Eclipse?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just obviously I was a fan of Twilight and New Moon, and I think you really get in Twilight, you really get inside of Bella's head, and then that continues in New Moon, and you really understand her dilemma even more when Jacob becomes a more prominent character, and you're just like, yeah, how does she choose? And now it's the consequences of her choice, of whatever choice she's going to make, becomes that much more heightened in this film, because it's now not just about her; it's about these different groups, and like you were saying, the Volturi remain involved, and it is this newborn vampire army, and the stakes become enormously high. So I would say it's New Moon plus a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's what's exciting.
And I got to ask Matt from the blogosphere, what are the fans saying in terms of the differences, how excited they are with the action and the drama that mixes into Eclipse?
Well, like Nikki said, it's everything from the previous book or film plus 10 times fold. We have the war that everyone's been hoping for and waiting for, and it's just everything that everyone's been excited for. I guess has to be the right word to say, because there's so much content in Eclipse, and I think that's why so many fans are so excited about this film, is because they want to see how this plays out. Because there's so much in the book, especially, that you don't even get to read. You just hear about in past, and what we've been hearing is they actually put it in the film. So there's just going to be more and more stuff that everyone is just really excited to see.
That's great. We like to hear that. And you kind of touched upon the